what we're trying to do is actually get some understanding around what's happening out there. Google have done a lot of research around this, and what we've got is a situation where back in 2019 or prior, we had pre-COVID behaviours, right? So, and I've broken it down into transactional and relational. So transactional feeding the workflow and relational feeding the soul, in a sense, or feeding the soul means getting on well with your workmates to a degree. And so you might have seen post-it notes on their desk or the screen, emails with attachments, phone calls, to-do lists from an office meet, in a portfolio. And the relational side would be chat over in the kitchen over a coffee, or lunch and brainstorm meet, team building event, or corporate box at the sports office if you're a big company like Veolia, and launch event trade shows, things like that. So all of that stopped. A lot of that stopped during COVID. Everyone scrambled and said, "Okay, let's do things digitally," right? So that some people put Kanban boards in. Some people started sharing docs or a sheet rather than attachments. Chat was huge during COVID. People used chat a lot more. That really increased. And in the world of Google, things like smart chips, which I'll get to later. And then the relational side, people start using emojis. Like, I need some encouragement now if anyone wants to encourage me for that. But emojis in video conference and chats. And there we go. Oh, we've got some encouragement there. Yay. And then, virtual workshops, delivery swag in the mail, virtual one-on-ones and breakout rooms. So that's what was happening during COVID. But then we're done with that now, and now we're back in the office. So what does that look like is the question. So, and what's happening is organisations had to adjust to a new way of working, because really people have changed their way of working to hybrid, right? So the future of work involves a hybrid model of in-person and remote employees, which is not static or one-time thing. That's the Google's research leading statement in their research. It's not static, it's a one-time thing. I've put on equals agility at the end of it, that statement. In pre-COVID, transactional feeds of workflow was really all about hard skills. So what was your knowledge? And that was your knowledge power. And it was tied to a place, tied to a device perhaps, but it was like people would come to your desk and ask things, right? And relationally, there were soft skills tied to a place again. And now we have people in a hybrid situation, so they're not coming to your desk. So agile means having digital skills, not as digital hard skills. So instead of coming to your desk, better be chat or something like that, or a video conference. And then digital soft skills, which we just saw an example of. So technology literacy enables agility is the key learning that we've got from some of this research around what happens with the hybrid workplace. So the critical success factors, summarising that, is how do we augment what we do in the office with digital hard skills and digital soft skills. Okay. So overview, why, what, how is the why is like evolve to gain competitive advantage. And the big one is securing the right talent at the right time. And a lot of HR now have realised that they will get preference in their recruitment for offering hybrid workplace. And they're getting different talent, those sort of things. And they now people are recognising that they need strategies to deal with hybrids' increased complexity, because it's not as simple anymore. It's like got more dimensions, more things going on, and more things to wrangle. So what navigating the hybrid workplace is augmentation of traditional office practices with collaborative virtual tools, experimentation with automation and AI, and you're seeing that with smart chips in the Google Workspace. New rules and etiquette emerging. For example, in our company, we mandate internal communication chat, do not email internally, please. So that's a new sort of rule and etiquette that we've adopted here. And socialising digital agility. So where are you living digitally? Okay, well, we live in this chat. Like for this particular activity, this hard skill, we live in this chat, or we we live in this knowledge base, that sort of thing. So there's some socialising digital agility is really important. And how? So the enabling technology that Google has is quite impactful. And yeah, so that's your collaboration technologies in Google Workspace, Google Meet, Chat, Drive, and editors, artificial intelligence, devices, Chrome hardware works anywhere securely, and partnering. So what we're talking, and we're going to be shameless here. What we're plugging is we've got templates around this. We've got hybrid-oriented support, hybrid-oriented consulting, hybrid-oriented project management, hybrid-oriented procurement. So not just traditional. It's just like we're aiming for to provision become the best supplier in hybrid workplace. Google have come up with top 4 use cases in hybrid work. So and these are the top 4 use cases. So do any of those resonate with you in terms of things that are top of mind around the use cases that Google's found? Are any of those, is that common with you guys too? I mean, have you found that either automation, HR, sales, and marketing are things that are a high adoption of hybrid workplace? Well, let's go to sales and see what happens there, because we can't cover all the material in these use cases. But there's 88% of sellers found it challenging to develop relationships with buyers virtually. Right. So that means that sales teams, and this might not be, you might be an outlier in adoption, I'd say. You might find that, it's a different percentage with your sales team. So it's a communication collaboration. So it'd be interesting to know if the Veolia salespeople are doing more virtual than face-to-face. But virtual selling is a new norm with increasing need to expand into new markets and engage digital with a global base. So, it's not unusual. Like, for example, I've got a meeting with a vendor tomorrow virtually from New York. And so people are sort of, if you like, centralizing their sales internationally almost these days. So you meet prospects and customers engaging video calls through Google Meet and handle live Q&A poll like we are now, and send the meeting recording back. And that type of digital literacy is where customers or companies that are finding they're disrupting traditional market sales because they're able to respond faster doing things that way. So sometimes, their salesperson's customers might appreciate that you can have a sales call today or tomorrow morning rather than next week by the time you drive there or get there, someone will fly there. So it's that speed, that speed to market is a real factor here. So they can do customized cost-saving modeling with, shared sheets, so they can say, well, here's our standard product, but we can bespoke tailor it to you, customer, and doing that via shared sheets with the finance team. There's objections using Google Docs and objection meeting around that. Once you get to the deal, it's Docs and DocuSign integration. There's a stack of integrations, and then you do the kickoff call to actually start the implementation with the project manager. There is a deep dive slide deck that details all of this, but we won't bore you with that today because we've only got 20 minutes, right? So anyway, what we can do now is flick through the other use cases and to what we've combined our services with Google services. And what we're about is we've recognised that one of the challenges with pre-COVID way of doing things, working from home, going digital, coming back to the office, and all of a sudden, companies have purchased a constellation of software to do things. So, they've got Google, they've got Microsoft, they might have an ERP system, and then they might have Zoom on top of WebEx on top. So companies just bought up a whole bunch of stuff, and the cognitive workload on staff is just crazy. What we're looking for is I think the mission in 2023 and 2024 is to try and reduce the cognitive workload by rationalizing and replacing. Some people have bought like big, heavy systems, to, if you like, crushing peanut with a steamroller, right? And so a lot of things we can do in Workspace will meet that need without having to staff to learn a very big SaaS system just to fix a particular problem. So the way we do that is we look at integrating things with Google Workspace. We look at making things reliable and secure and making sure it plays well. So a lot of integration, we do a lot of integration work with the development team you may not know about. We do a lot of interop work with, in fact, we've done some customized work with HubSpot. We've done something with Salesforce, Atlassian and more. And that's where you get the great gains, because sometimes you can actually reduce the cognitive workload by just operating, for example, adding tasks into Google Workspace can translate into a task in HubSpot and vice versa, or a calendar entry can integrate with a CRM system. So that's where you get the physical agility of the same experience in any device, access to Service Anywhere by having the Chromebook together with an integration and just specific things that say salesperson just needs to do sales, right? And that also means value for money, because you're not stacking up all these SaaS applications and having monthlies out of control in terms of paying 5, 6, 7, 8 different vendors to do simple jobs. So that's what we're proposing. So the 4 steps to getting this done is excite, enable, expand, embed. Some experiences we've had, Google have had, and experiences we've had. We didn't roll out your Workspace. That was done in France, I think, William. And this might be a bit of a thing in terms of, like, we don't speak French, so we're not going to get very far with some of this, you guys. But the change, exciting is getting a painting a vision for a new and better way of doing things, which is reduce cognitive workload and improved effectiveness. So it's really about casting a vision for that. What are the problems we're solving for? Loving the problem, not the solution. So solving a problem, and then the solution is just how you solve the problem. So what's the outcome we can get? So that's the excite phase. The one everyone's more familiar with is the enable phase, and this is where time and time again we've had this excite enable phase. We've been able to get that in the budget. So plan deployment, plan training communication, deploy service, launch support model, and that's pretty stock standard. But what we found is difficult and is a challenge is the expanding, which is how do we get more out of the system, or circle back and not just think it's a static thing. We've deployed whatever system and now we're done, right? What's next? And that's not how it works anymore. It needs to be, if you like, a value stream where you go, okay, what we're going to do is have people who are always looking for improvements. So, and Google run these things called transformation labs, and they're like, say, meet every quarter and go, have we solved all of the problems? What's left over? What's in the remainder of what we've done? We've solved 80%, and now let's tackle the 20%. And so establish a cross-functional innovation team, promote adoption through ongoing communication training, ensure help desk and several support is actually on board with that. And what about the last one, which is embed, right? So measure and promote success. So, and this gets super interesting because we're starting to see more and more analytics projects being stood up. So manage ongoing programs, establish operational rhythm and managing programs, reward successes, target ongoing education, remove roadblocks, turn off legacy applications, and starting to replace those legacy things with modern low-code situations like AppSheet. So I think what's hidden behind this slide is the analytics. It's like the measure, right? And we've had quite a few inquiries about standing up BigQuery. Yeah, BigQuery is an incredible product. It's really inexpensive, but extremely powerful. And we've had successes connecting it to Workspace to get a lot of metrics around about how hybrid work is being adopted. So again, engagement scores, those sorts of things we can get out of Workspace about like, well, okay, are people being healthy or unhealthy around their engagement with the company system? And we did this, we've done big projects around this in education. We think those type of skills translate into corporate because, you know, you have the same situation of like, well, someone's actually in the system at 2 a.m. That, you know, their manager needs to know, right?
Yep.
So things like that, right? And that's also part of the embedding, is just getting that sophistication going where you actually got a handle on what's going on. If you can't see it, you know, and that's, you know, that's the problem, is you can't see what's going on, then getting visibility to what's happening with the system. Yeah. So, yeah, okay. So now we get to giveaways. Chris?
I believe the winner is Veolia.
All right. Yeah, okay, we got that there. Yeah.
Well, William from Veolia, not
Yeah.
Veolia themselves. I'll let Brady know it wasn't him.
Yeah, right. Okay.